It's not PTO everybody season, Liam, but Zach Cassian's name is already in the mix. Let's get into it with the lead. Welcome into Oilers Nation every day, live on the Oilers Nation YouTube, live from the Sports Closet studio. Liam is in the other version of the Sports Closet studio as well. Bring Cassian home has the first YouTube comment of the day. I cannot believe that's your name. I actually don't know how easy it is to change your name on YouTube. So Lord knows if you've had that for months or if you just did it this morning. Regardless, they have the first comment. They say, Cassian is finally free from the desert. Give him a PTO 10. Yes, we will be talking about the news of the day on today's edition of the show. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. If you're watching anywhere else, go watch on YouTube or download the show as a podcast. Either or, not exactly too picky. Liam, big news today. We're no pleasantries. We're getting right into the hockey talk. It's the Sherwood Ford Giant offseason question of the day. Should the Oilers be interested in bringing back Zach Cassian?
Maybe. I don't know. It just seems so weird, but it seems so right all at the same time, Tyler. Why would, on God's green earth, would the Oilers want somebody who had, 2 goals last season? But also, is Zach Cassian, and when he left, everyone was kind of knew why, obviously, but it was kind of a bumming moment, I guess. But if you can bring this guy back on, a minimum deal to be a 13th, 14th forward on the right wing, I mean, why not? Maybe imagine him and Klim on each side. That would be special.
Yeah, that would be something. You know what? Before I give my take, maybe we should relive some of Zach Cassian's best moments as an Oiler, Liam, and really see if we can, tug on people's heartstrings a little bit. Because there were a lot of really good moments. You had this in round 2 of the 2017 playoffs. I don't know who the guy is that's yelling at him, but what a moment. This is absolutely electric. You like to point out the insane collection of players coming in to congratulate him on that goal?
Yes, David Dehane and Eric Greiber. We said off the show, Tyler. How was this team 1 win away from going to the Western Conference Finals? I will never know. But there it is. And there's Stanley Cup winner Laurent Brossoit. So quite the collection of players.
Also would have been, I think Mark Letestu jumped into the mix there in the pile. I'm not sure. Oh, Luch was on the ice. Darnell there. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Are we just watching Lucic highlights now? Are we just watching highlights of this game? Or are we watching Zach Cassian? Yeah, here's the goal. This was electric. Aaron, could we see the San Jose moments, though? I think those are way more hilarious. Because did he have a big impact on this series? Absolutely. Should Zach Cassian probably have been suspended 3 times? Yes, absolutely. That's a predatory hit. That should have been 5 in a game for charging. The ref's arm stayed down the entire time. That's absolutely bananas. That's so dirty.
It's nice to know NHL officiating has not changed its standards since 2017.
His feet, man, are so high up in the air. That's a headshot. That is a headshot on a player in a vulnerable position 7 days out of 7. Man.
That one feels like it's towing the line a little bit.
Just a hair. He gave us some good moments. There was the breakaway goal in San Jose as well. All of that stuff, Liam, and all of that to say, maybe we could get more moments like that. I'm here to tell you, you won't. Zach Cassian is sadly no longer an NHL player. Remember in 2019-20 when he popped home 15 goals in 60 games, and it's like, damn it, he plays with edge. He fits in with McDavid. They seem to get along, and he's got 20 goal potential. Sign that guy. That signing was a terrible idea, even with the COVID cap stuff aside. Signing players while in the middle of a heater is a poor idea if you're running an NHL front office. And since then, Zach Cassian has appeared in 136 regular season NHL games. He has 10 goals. 1 goal every 13.6 games. He's coming off a season where he only scored twice in 51 games and was minus 18 in Arizona. Not only did he only score twice, Liam, he only had 25 shots on goal in 51 games. He was, listen, I didn't watch a ton of Coyotes hockey, but you look at those numbers and that screams a guy who mentally checked out. I would honestly be a little surprised if he got another NHL contract just because, again, I don't know what's exactly left in the tank for him. I don't know if he can dig deep and bring that intense style of play again. It makes no sense to bring back Zach Cassian, even on a PTO, even on a league minimum deal. You can do better.
You're crushing our dreams, Tyler. Why have you always got to go back to reality? Let's live in this fantasy world where Zach Cassian comes back and he's this 2017 guy all over again. But I guess to be in reality, you're 100% right. Like, what is Zach Cassian going to make this team any better, right? And especially, like you said, a guy who lost motivation last year on an Arizona team that gained a ton of motivation after what the ownership said about them, right? And like nobody believed in them within the organization besides themselves. And if Cassian I know he wasn't in the lineup every night and it's difficult, obviously, but like if everyone else around you is getting up for things and really giving it a go, then and you can't, like, it's tough to kind of bring a guy like that back, unfortunately. I mean, like I said off the top, I would love to see Zach Cassian back in an Oilers shirt again, but I would also love it if it was like 2019 Zach Cassian back in an Oilers shirt again. So unfortunately, it's not going to work out. I would be shocked too if he did get an NHL deal. If he did, it would 100% be a two-way deal, I think, for basically no money. Because if you're just getting bought out by the Arizona Coyotes, then like, oh, where are you going from there, right? San Jose, I guess. Like, there's not many other bottom feeders left.
Yeah, I don't see it. I think Dangerous Wade said maybe in like a Klim Kostin style role. I just think, and a few people made this point in the chat, Klim Kostin is that guy. He is your Zach Cassian, right? He is more skilled. He's younger. He's also going to be relatively cheap on his next contract. He can score away from McDavid and Draisaitl, which is something this team desperately needs. You have that spot in your lineup. Spending a contract on Zach Cassian, it's not going to happen, man. Sorry.
Would you PTO him?
No.
All right.
I don't even think it's worth the storyline, is it? Like, I don't know. I
think at best he has a PCO next season and kind of has to reprove himself again, which he's done in the NHL before, right? So hopefully for Cassian's sake, he's able to figure something out and continue his NHL career. Because what is he now? 30, 32, 33, something like that. So he's still relatively young in NHL terms, so he's got some time left, but I don't see it being in Edmonton, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody.
I don't know if he'll want to. Like, again, for him to be effective, think of what he's got to put himself through, man. He needs to play that rough and tumble game. He's got to drop the mitts, get into fights, all of that stuff. Does he want to go through a rigorous offseason after spending a year in Arizona, which would be good living? Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But does he want to go through a rigorous offseason and then a season of grinding it out? He's got $23.2 million in career earnings. Does he really want to keep playing for $900K again? Or does he sit there and go, I made my money. My body is beat up to shit. I'm happy where I am. I got a family. I'm stepping away with the good money.
And obviously he's got now the buyout money, which is going to extend a little bit longer too, right? So I think you're probably onto something, but I mean, if there's someone who can reinvent themselves, I think it could be Cassian. So we'll see, but I think you're right. And might be staying in the desert with Pronger and Datsuk and Marian Hossa.
Yeah, he just might. And again, he's going to make some money here on the buyout too. So you're good, Cass. You're good. Erik Karlsson said, bro had one great playoffs and became everyone's uncle's favorite player. He's not that guy, pal. And I agree. Like, get Klim Kostin, find a different guy to go run around in your bottom six with a little more offensive upside. Eric says, I miss Cassian, but not enough to bring him back. And I think that is the correct take. You can love him. We just watched the highlights. He gave us some great moments. But end of conversation. Zach Cassian back here he's just flat out not a fit. So there's your Sherwood Ford Giant offseason question brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant, where this month, every test drive at the dealership, it's going to result in our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant making a donation to the Strathcona Community Hospital Foundation. So go check them out at Sherwood Ford the Giant. Tyler Mulick says every player in Bakersfield is better than Cassian. I mean, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think you have useful players down on the farm as well that you could just bring up for league minimum. You don't need to use a contract. Todd says Klim is cheaper and scores more. 100%. Klim Kostin is our new Zach Cassian. He's our guy coming off a great playoffs. Really, really itching to see what kind of deal the Oilers can cook up with Klim Kostin. One of the stories we're kind of watching this week, I would say it's Yamo trade, Kostin deal, Bouchard deal, although that might linger a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if that trickles into the summer. That Yamo trade, Bouchard deal, the other UFAs, so Janmark, I guess, is in that mix. And I think those are kind of the 4 things I'm watching, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the RFAs can be just tossed into one group, I guess you could say. Ken Holland said that all of them will get the what do you call it, qualifying offers, of course, and then Bouchard will likely linger on, like you said. I think Holland said that too. So the first one I would try and key in on though would probably be Ryan McLeod. I think because we kind of lingered with it a little bit too. Like if there's someone who gets an offer sheet, everyone kind of assumes it's Bouchard, but Ryan McLeod might seem like a better option for some teams and maybe price the others out of it a little bit. So I would like the others to kind of key in on Ryan McLeod and get that one done. What it'll be around, I don't know, maybe around 2 million. I would assume somewhere between 2 and 3, I guess. Hopefully not too much higher than that. And yeah, get him locked up because the Oilers quite frankly need Ryan McLeod on this team next season.
Boy, is it ever depressing to see Oscar Klefbom on this list of pending UFAs. That is sad. That is very sad. But we wish our boy Oscar all the best in his retirement. Stealth Legends. Tyler, is it true Kostin might be going to the KHL? I believe he got a good, financially sizable offer from a team in the KHL, but I don't know if that's the route he wants to go. I think he wants to keep playing in the NHL and try to make things work here in North America. So I think if it was the KHL, we would have seen a deal already. I think he's going to be back with the Oilers is my read on the situation. So take that however you will. If it was going to be the KHL, I think it probably would have happened already. Our pal Frank Saravalli, Liam, has a new trade targets board coming up on dailyfaceoff.com. So we're going to dig into it. Brought to you by our friends at Cornerstone Insurance. Find them on social media, Cornerstone INS. They can help you with everything. They insure the Nation truck. That is how much I trust our friends at Cornerstone Insurance. And you, a Nation citizen and listener of this show, can head to their website and you can scroll down. There's a little button. You're a friend of the Nation. You hit that, you get yourself a nice discount. Shout out to Cornerstone Insurance. Frank Saravalli's trade targets board. Nothing really changing all too much is, I think, a good way to sum it up. The Winnipeg Jets are dominating this thing, especially near the top. Dubois, Hellebuck, Scheifele. I think all 3 of those guys are good as gone. It's going to be fascinating to see what Winnipeg can do. You have Hayes and you have DeBrincat rounding out the top 5. The rest of the top 10, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Erik Karlsson, Noah Hanifin at number 9. I think that's interesting. I know the barn burner guys were talking today about a potential Elias Lindholm extension. It sounds like there is a path to Lindholm staying with the Flames. Hanifin being this high on the list is leading me to believe that he might be moved. On paper, I think this guy would be an awesome fit for the Edmonton Oilers. I think he's the kind of defenseman who, he's a left shot, but if you could get him to play the right side, maybe he's not. They're not going to. My point was it's unrealistic. I think the Flames are going to get a lot for Noah Hanifin, and he's probably going to an American market.
Yeah. And the first thing I thought of when I saw Hanifin's name on there is he must have told him he doesn't want to re-sign then, I'm assuming, if he's on his trade list, right? So he's a good player. I don't think the Oilers will be in on him because, frankly, that would be crazy for the Calgary Flames to trade him to Edmonton. He's an American defenseman, right?
Yes.
So, I think we'll probably see him down in an American market. Is there any modifications? Does he have trade protection or anything like that on his deal?
Yes. Submits an 8-team no-trade list.
Okay, so I would imagine 6 of those teams are in Canada. And then the rest of him kind of is what it is, I guess. So Noah Hanifin, I like him a lot. It's kind of crazy to look back at that trade that he was involved in going to Calgary and the players that are in it. Dougie Hamilton, Adam Fox, obviously Elias Lindholm, and Noah Hanifin. He was one of the guys slipping my tongue, but crazy trade. And Calgary, I think this is the right move. I think this is the right decision. I really like that Conroy has gone into Calgary and put his foot down, being like, we will not put our fans through what they went through with Tkachuk and Gaudreau last summer, and we're going to make sure this franchise is heading in a positive direction. And as much as I would like to see them crash and burn, as just a neutral hockey fan, I guess it's very positive to see a team realize the situation they're in.
Yeah, 100%. The Philadelphia Flyers have an impossible amount of players on Frank Seravalli's trade targets board. Aaron, I think we can take a look at that right now as well. Hayes at 3, Konechny at 10, Lawton at 12, D'Angelo at 18, Hart at 25, and at 36 is Travis Sanheim, who signed for like a ton of years at a $6.25 million cap hit. He does have in the first 4 years a full no trade clause, so he would control his destiny. But Frank dropped an interesting nugget on Daily Faceoff Live today, saying that there's chatter that the Flyers could be willing to package up Hayes with one of their defensemen, whether it's Sanheim or D'Angelo, to try just get as much value as they can. Like maybe they want to get a legit A+ level prospect or something like that. And some contending team says, hey, we're getting Kevin Hayes, a high-end second-line center. We're getting a 27-year-old Travis Sanheim, who's going to be a top 4 D-man for us for the next 4 or 5 seasons, 6.25, similar to what Severson got. I wonder if there's kind of a big package deal out there with a Hayes and a Lawton, or sorry, not Lawton, Hayes and Lawton, sure. Maybe a Konechny D'Angelo, Konechny Sanheim package deal as well. Like the Flyers are in a fascinating spot.
Yeah, they really are. And you look at those players and you kind of think, how is this team not good? Like that's kind of like, it's crazy that these guys are available with considering the age of some of them. And I think it's smart of Philadelphia to try and package those guys together and get as much as they can. I'd be very curious to see some of the teams that would be interested in doing that. From this list, I would actually love to see the others go after maybe even a Scott Lawton too. Like Scott Lawton or Konechny would kind of be on my list. D'Angelo, he's obviously a very good player, but he comes with a bit of baggage. I don't think the others need that. Carter Hart would be awesome too, but you have Stuart Skinner, and Kevin Hayes has just priced himself out a little bit. So my wish list would be a Travis Konechny, of course, who we've talked about numerous times, and Scott Lawton. Was he on like $3 million for a year or two or something like that?
3 more years.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
He's never scored 20 goals.
Really?
Yeah.
Has he played 82?
18 and 78 last year, 11 and 67 the year before, 9 and 53 the year before, 13 and 49 the year before. Like he's almost never even really been in a 20 goal pace outside of, I guess, that 1920 season. I think a smart organization can find up and coming Scott Lawtons and don't need to give up a big ask apparently from Philly and $3 million over the next 3 years for a Scott Lawton. Like he's a good player and he's probably worth $3 million, but I don't know if that's how the Oilers should be spending $3 million.
I guess with that logic, the Oilers really have it, and don't they, in Ryan McLeod, a guy who hasn't hit the 20 goal mark yet either, but he's progressing to be a promising player 2 ways. So I like Scott Lawton. I actually didn't realize I thought he scored a little bit more, to be honest. I knew he wasn't like a 30 goal guy, but I thought he kind of lingered closer to the 20 or past the 20 goal mark. So yeah, maybe just Konechny them. Forget what I said. We'll cut that.
Yeah, we'll cut all that out. It's a good thing the show's not live. The other notes Frank had, he had some teams in there. You can watch it all on Daily Faceoff Live today. Teams who could weaponize cap space, like the Chicago Blackhawks, have so much money. It's insane. $37.6 million in cap space. If they want to go pluck guys for free, like I've been big, they should be calling Edmonton and Washington and bringing in both Anthony Mantha and Kyler Yamamoto. Just because, again, 2 guys, year left on their deal. Bring them in, see what kind of players Connor Bedard works well with. You get to the deadline. If one of the 2 isn't working, you keep half trade them, right? It makes sense. I think the Hawks are a team that should just be loading up on every youngish top 9 forward who's available and maybe is on the block, right? Go and get those guys. There's no downside to it.
No, there's really not, especially with the contracts only have one or 2 years left on them. It's such an interesting spot for Chicago. Maybe I'm wrong and you can give the answer to this, but like, I don't remember a time when a team was going into a season being like, okay, who do we have? Like there is like 10 players at best throughout this organization who could make this team next season. Like It's just wild to see. Like at least Anaheim has like quite a lot of NHL talent, to be honest. Obviously their defense isn't too bad with like guys like Cam Fowler and Drysdale forwards, Troy Terry, Zegras, whoever, even John Gibson's good, but Chicago, it's the wildest situation. I'm so curious to see what they're able to do. And, like, what are they going to do? I don't know. Like, but I like the idea of going after like a Mantha and Yamamoto, and for example, because they're NHL players are just in situations where teams just can't afford to have them anymore. And like you said, you could get them for essentially nothing, pennies to the dollar.
Yeah, another team Frank talked about on Icebreakers today with DFO Live was the Florida Panthers and how aggressive they could be willing to be. And that brings me to an interesting trade that popped up on Twitter today. It's from Greg Wyshynski, who had like an ESPN notebook thing go up, and he had this mock trade. Greg Wyshynski, rumored big fan of the AMA travel trade machine, gave us his own idea. Not us, his readers. Again, I don't think he knows who we are. He says if the Oilers can find someone to take Kyler Yamamoto off their hands, Edmonton flips their first rounder in 2024 to Florida for Brandon Montour. That's step one of the deal. Oilers get Montour, give up a first round pick in 2024. The Panthers then take that first rounder, their second rounder, and Eetu Luostarinen, and they trade them to the Sharks for Erik Karlsson. So yesterday we were talking about ways for the Panthers to make a Karlsson deal work. There are rumblings that Florida likes him, and that's a spot he would be waiving his no trade clause to go. Would you trade your first next year for 1 year of Brandon Montour?
I don't think I would.
Really?
I like Brandon Montour. He obviously kind of turned his career around in a way this season too, right? But just knowing that the Oilers were able to trade a first round pick and get Ekholm this year makes me wonder if like there's just a better package out there for them to get a better player than a Montour, right? For one more season. And then plus you have to factor in like, what is the Bouchard contract? Are you really going to get maximum Brandon Montour because he ran that power play in Florida, right? Like he's not going to do that in Edmonton. It's interesting. I mean, I think Brandon Montour is a great player. Like I said, I think he would make this team better. I just wonder if the Oilers can get something just better with their first round pick.
He had 73 points this season with 33 of them coming on the power play. So obviously that power play production would just fizzle right out because he's not taking over Bouchard's spot. One more year, that's a little bit worrisome. I actually even wonder if Florida would maybe want more than a first round pick for this guy, considering how important he was for them in their cup run. I don't know if this is exactly a fit. Tyler Mulick says, I like Montour. He just isn't the right fit to play with Nurse. Doesn't play against elites. He's a bit scrambly. Like he almost reminds me of like a right shot Nurse in some ways. I think the Oilers' main goal should be someone who can calm down that Darnell Nurse pairing. Someone who's just really good at their own end, breaking up cycles, doesn't get lost in their own zone, is always responsible coming back. They need to move well. And I just keep thinking I'm describing Brett Pesce, right? If you're moving your first round pick for a D-man, a rental D-man at that, it's Pesce over Montour, I think.
Yeah, if I had to pick one of the two to give up a first, it would be a Brett Pesce, like player. I think with the nursing too, like it's not even necessarily about calming Nurse down. It's about having someone who helps Nurse like kind of just close everything down, right? A Nurse doesn't have to do everything. Unfortunately, Cody Ceci wasn't able to do that again this season. So, yeah, I think you're right, Tyler. I wouldn't waste a first round pick on a Montour if there's a Brett Pesce available. But I'd be curious to see if we could do a sign and trade kind of thing too. Maybe get that done before it's too late, especially if the cap's going to go up, so we'll see.
You talking about maybe a Scott Mayfield sign and trade or something like that?
That might not be a bad idea. If I know
Aaron just dropped his name in the chat. I just worry about his AAV, man. Like
a Mayfield?
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely is. What is he, right? Like we obviously know he's going to be a good defenseman, but like that guy is going to want a lot of money considering he's just been sat in the Islanders organization making, what was he, under $1 million or something like that? So he's going to want the payday once he can get it, and he knows his value is high. And this defensive class of free agents is not good. What is it? I think on Frank's list, it's Orlov, Graves, and then Scott Mayfield's like early 20s or something like that, right?
Let me take you through a little fake trade exercise kind of thing. So Severson got 6.25. Let's say Scott Mayfield's going to be in the ballpark of 4.25, okay? On a 7-year deal in free agency, because that's the only way he's getting it. 4.25 by 7 years means $29.75 million total for Scott Mayfield. If you're the Oilers, and let's say you can move Cody Ceci for a third or a fourth round pick, and then you take that pick, go to the Islanders, say, here's your third or fourth rounder for the negotiating rights to Mayfield, that means you can give him an 8th year. You take 29.75, the total sum of money, divide it by 8. Could you get Scott Mayfield for $3.7 million on an 8-year deal? Would you want an 8-year deal for Scott Mayfield just to knock down that AAV that significantly?
How old is Scott Mayfield now? 27? 28?
So he is 30. Oh shit.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no, I
probably
would
a
not
terrible
like
idea,
to-
hey?
I would be out. I am charm out on signing Scott Mayfield to 8 years.
Okay, so but maybe that just changes the exercise a little bit, right? Let's say
Okay.
Scott Mayfield, some team, he's expecting to get 4 by 4.25. Do you give him a 5th year to knock the AAV down to 3.4 kind of thing, right? Like, would you give up the extra year? Then I guess you don't need to move and get the asset. Yeah, maybe it doesn't work.
Well, to be honest, I would probably give him the 5th year to bring it down because
I would too.
Wasn't it? I think Frank said it on the rundown, right? Like the cap's going to be like mid 90s in not so far away, right? So by the time you get there, is it really going to matter that much? Like, what is the value of that deal going to be anyway? Like a $3 million deal in today's NHL in a few years. So I think I would just bring that down and try and get what you can for him. But then again, you look at this list, like, do you just go sign a Carson Soucy for a little bit cheaper?
I don't know if Carson Soucy's your top pairing solution. Like Mayfield has good experience playing against elites. Soucy doesn't have it. Tyler Mulick said, could you get, or would you be happy with Mayfield at the CC number? I would be thrilled with that.
Yes.
You're just not getting him at that, right? I think he's going to be 4.25 to 4.5 million unless you grossly overpay in the term to knock down that AAV a little bit. And that's tempting in some ways because, like you said, Liam, if in years 4, 5, or 6 of a long Mayfield deal, if the cap is north of $100 million, it might be a normal thing to pay a third pairing D-man that money, and you're just banking on Mayfield staying above replacement level at that point. He won't need to be elite for the entire contract. So, yeah.
Do you think the Oilers should be looking in the trade market rather than the free agency market then for a defenseman?
Probably, right? I think that's why we're hearing them linked to a guy like Brett Pesce, is because if you need to move out CC to bring in a D-man, if you can get an asset for CC, 3rd or 4th rounder, maybe you're more comfortable giving up a pick in a trade for a defenseman as well. Derek makes a good point, though. When it comes to the trade market, we're thinking about trading the 2nd, trading the 1st rounder next year. He says, I'm worried something will come up during the season that we need to solve at the deadline, so I'd be saving for then. I don't know if he was talking cap space or assets, but either way, if you trade, I mean, your 2nd rounder, I have a funny feeling they're going to use it. I think it'll be Ken Holland's preference to use it just because organizationally, do you want your scouts out grinding all year and then you sit there and pull out the one high pick they get? You're in win now mode. You are firmly in win now mode. But I think it's not the worst idea in the world to save 1 pick a year in rounds 1, 2, or 3 just to add something to your farm system. The 1st rounder next year, though, with that being said, I know they don't have a lot of picks next year either because the 2nd is gone in. Oh, no, you still have your 2nd next year. Yeah, I'm trading the 1st round pick, but do you want to save it for the deadline, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, it's such an interesting thing because it's like, what if there is nothing, right? Like we can assume that all these guys are available, but what if there's just nothing at the deadline and you pass up on something now, right? I think you've got to live in the present a little bit with those picks, but yeah, I think if there's something available now, you make that deal, and just in the trade deadline, maybe you just sacrifice the 2025 1st round pick, whatever it may be. You know, like that kind of is what it is. Like you just keep going. Like the 1st round picks are all there. Like so, maybe that's what you do. But just to kind of address what you said about making the 56th overall pick, I could see them trading down slightly to maybe like 60 and bagging in a 3rd or something like that too. But I don't see them like sacrificing that pick and then not having one till the 6th round.
Okay, I know you are going to get a chuckle at this, Liam, but man, for all of our regular listeners in the YouTube chat, what the hell is going on in there today? It is a absolute shit show in the YouTube chat of just weirdos.
I don't have the chat open today because I have got to have my phone on the screen, so I am not seeing any of this.
I have absolutely noticed. It's getting out of hand.
It's a mess. So anyways, clean yourselves up in the YouTube chat, damn it. Come on.
Who are we trading?
Oh no, Liam. It's well out of that atmosphere, stratosphere, whatever. Frank Saravalli, if you missed it yesterday, did have a line saying the Oilers could have a taker lined up for Kyler Yamamoto for free. Oh, what are you changing your background to? Now it's just static.
I got to see this chat. I can't just
you're
sit
turning
here
off
and
the TV.
Yeah, give me 2 seconds, people.
Anyways, he did say that they could have a taker for Kyler Yamamoto for nothing. We're going to pick Frank's brain about that a little bit more tomorrow on the show. Another little piece of news to pass along, or a little report. Rick Dollywall from out in Vancouver is saying Milan Lucic's agent, Jerry Johansson, apparently has permission to begin talking with a few teams before hitting the UFA market. I'll get out ahead of that right now. No, same camp as Zach Cassian. We're not doing that. So yeah, we'll move right on from that. You know what we should do? Get into our player grade for today, Liam, brought to you by Star Mechanical, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. Find out more at starmechanical.ca. We made our way all the way from number 1, although there isn't a number 1. So number 2 through 97, we're out of numbers and players to grade. So we're going to go to the coach himself, Jay Woodcroft. We're dubbing him number 00. We didn't really know what to put here. Also, the TV's back on behind you, Liam.
Yeah, it's okay. I turned it on. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. I thought maybe you were going to go back to watching Cops or something like we usually do in the studio before shows.
We're in business.
We are in business. You're just distracting the hell out of me. Anyways, Jay Woodcroft's player grade. What a nonsense show. Jay Woodcroft's player grade brought to you by Star Mechanical. He's number 00. Regular season grade, I went with an A- actually, Liam. I think for the bulk of the season, he did not have enough top 6 forwards because of injury. Yamamoto, Evander Kane. He found a way to make it work through different ways. I think at times there's some stubbornness here, but that happens when you have a coach who's coaching the same group of players year after year. Like he has his crutches. I'm not saying Jay Woodcroft is a perfect coach, but he almost led them to a Pacific Division title. He gets a lot of credit for that. I think early in the year, he kind of made the decision to say, hey, this Jack Campbell thing's not working. I'm treating Stuart Skinner like the number 1. I think that was a really smart move as well. I think he gets an A- for the regular season. Do you disagree with that?
Yeah, but only in a positive way. I would just give him an A. I mean, this team was 1 win away from being the Western Conference regular season champions, right? So yeah, I would give it an A on that regard. And for most of the season, like things were going fairly swimmingly, like a 50 win season for Woody. So yeah, I'll give him an A.
Yeah. Davin says when we were rolling, we were rolling. Mulet gave him a B+ in the regular season. Jules gave him a B in the regular season. D. White went B+ as well. But a lot of you, I'm reading your grades for the playoffs, and it seems like you agree with me. I went C+. I see a C, another C, a C+ from Joel. There were mistakes in the playoffs. I think his line management maybe wasn't the best. I think he probably should have moved away from Cody Ceci against elites at some point, considering how much he struggled. He loved rolling out Vinny Desharnais, and I think he should have switched gears to Jack Campbell for Game 6 against the Vegas Golden Knights. There were a handful of mistakes I think Jay Woodcroft made. He kind of got outcoached by Bruce Cassidy. Not kind of. He did flat out get outcoached.
I might go lower. I think I might even go like a C-, to be honest. So the positive is that they obviously won a round. I think he was the first coach in however long to do that in back-to-back seasons to win a playoff round. So that's very positive. But the Oilers should have been the Vegas Golden Knights. They were the better team on paper, and in moments they showed how dangerous they could be. But I just found Woodcroft's inability to adapt on the fly was present within that round. Like you said, the Cody Ceci thing didn't work. The Desharnais thing got better, to his credit. To Desharnais' credit, he did get a little bit better. Yeah. But there was times when it's like, how is this guy in the lineup? Especially when Broberg comes in, takes the penalty and then gets like benched for it and plays like 4 minutes. It's okay, well, why are you giving different treatments to different guys here? I just didn't quite understand it. They should have gone to Jack Campbell way sooner than they did. Especially, you pulled Stuart Skinner 4 times and you didn't start Jack Campbell once in the series. So I'll give him a C-. I believe in Woodcroft, and it was a mistakes that were made, but hopefully they can learn from them and move forward. So A in the regular season from me, C- for the playoffs. And I mean, like you had it in your thing, 100% chance of returning next season.
Yeah, Davin is in and says bottom 6 needs more minutes. When Woody came in, remember that was one of the things the players were praising. The bottom 6 guys were like, we feel like we have a role on this team. And at points this year, he went way too far away from that. Like, Klim Kostin should have played way more basically throughout the entire back half of the season and into the playoffs. That guy was productive, played mean. I thought he should have gotten a top 6 look, and it never really came. They didn't play their bottom 6 enough, and I think that's something Woody needs to get back to doing next season. Like, I think they got to trust Klim more. I think they got to trust Ryan McLeod more as well.
That's one thing I missed, but I 100% agree. Like, do you remember that game Klim Kostin got benched next to Desharnais, and it was just like the game before he had just scored 2 goals. It was just very strange, like the treatments that were given to some players, and I don't quite understand it. Like, another thing too, just on a depth, like there was this graphic I saw where in the Vegas series, Vegas's minutes through the 4 lines was split like 16 minutes, 16, 15, and no, I'm very distracted.
What the fuck is going on in our chat?
I can't
I think
see.
I'm just gonna boot that guy. You're getting put in timeout.
Hopefully I can go back and read it all. But yeah, they gotta split up the depth, take more minutes away from McDavid and Draisaitl, which seems like a crazy thing to say, but trust everybody, because that's when your team will thrive the most. The Vegas Golden Knights just did it, and the Oilers need to do that now.
Man. Tyler Mulick, I'm with you. I'm happy someone else is noticing this. Yeah, he's out of here. There's a couple other people that are not far behind him. You're all throwing off my vibe on the show. I'm getting distracted. Some people saying Klim was hurt. Yeah, we reported that on this show, Liam, that we believe he had a broken toe that he was playing through after blocking some shots early in the Vegas Golden Knights series as well. So I want to see more of Klim Kostin. I want to see more from the bottom 6. Those are some a few things that I think Woody can improve on next season. AMA travel trade machine time. You can save on luggage, you can save on hotels, car rental, excursions, and more. AMAtravel.ca. If you head to AMAtravel.ca/dreams, they have a little vacation calculator thing where you punch in all the info and it spits out some pre-planned trips for you as well. AMA Travel, they power the trade machine. Frank Saravalli today said that there's been a shift in the thinking for the Arizona Coyotes. This is a team with $1 billion draft picks in the next 3 years. Aaron, I think we could actually flash up just how many picks they have. Yeah, we had it. That's insane. In the next 3 years, 4 first-rounders, 9 second-rounders, and 9 third-rounders. You really can't make all these picks. Like, you don't have room in your system. You don't have enough contracts to sign these guys. They need to start trading some pieces, and Frank thinks this offseason they'll begin to get more aggressive and competitive. That means no more Arizona Coyotes taking on bad contracts or LTIR players. They're going to start moving picks for actual players. They're also going to not be shopping Lawson Crouse, Nick Schmaltz, other guys like that. They want to take a step out of the rebuild, is what Frank Saravalli said. Here's the deal we cooked up. If you're the Coyotes, all you have is draft picks. The Philadelphia Flyers desperately want draft picks. If you're Arizona, why would you not want a young, controllable asset that you can let play in Arizona for 2 years, let your franchise situation sort itself out, then try sign him to an extension? You go get Travis Konechny. I know it might pain you Oilers fans to think of Konechny going somewhere else, but 2 seconds and a third. Now, you might also be saying that that's just not enough. The Flyers are going to want first-round picks for this guy, are they not? But I think here's the gamble Philly takes. Let's go back to those picks, Aaron, and where Arizona kind of whatever. You can throw conditions on all of these and say, we want the highest of, your second rounder in 2023. But then you can say, with those third rounders coming up, we want the highest available one in the second and the highest available one in the third. And in a way, because again, Arizona's second rounder this year is high, and in a deep draft, it's almost like a pseudo first rounder. Next year, between Arizona and Montreal, one of those is probably going to be pretty high. You can sit there if you're Philly and be like, we want the highest out of those two as a condition, and we want the highest one in the third, which is likely going to be Arizona's. In a way, you're not quite getting first-round picks, Liam, but you're getting 3 assets, and it's getting close to like 2 firsts and a second, right? It's just a touchdown in value. I think it's an interesting deal. I don't know who says no.
Yeah, it's intriguing now that you put the conditions on it, because my first instinct was, where's the first round pick? Because just assuming that's what it'd be worth.
Yeah.
But you're right. What's the Arizona pick? Like the sixth overall, right? So that would be like 38 or whatever it is. Like, so that's not a bad one. Philly, I think they have 2 first round picks this year too. So, I think it's good that Arizona are finally trying to turn things around and trying to win some damn hockey games. Like, Arizona should be a desirable market. No, like it'd be a great place to live. The weather's good all the time. Like traveling, it's not bad. I think this is a good idea for Arizona to finally do this. Philly, like you said, just wants a ton of picks. You get those conditions on it and make sure they're all the highest ones, or at least 2 of the 3. I don't think it's that bad. I think Philly would eventually ask for a first round pick, perhaps instead of one of the seconds. But I would agree. This kind of makes sense.
But if you're Philly, and okay, so we did the Edmonton thing, right? It was like a first and Borgo. Okay, where's that first this year or next year? It's probably very late. Borgo is a late first rounder. If you're Philly and your 2 offers, let's say there's an offer from Edmonton that is pick 28 next year, okay, and Borgo, or you can get pick 38 this year, a second rounder next year that's either Arizona's or Montreal's, so probably 38 or earlier, because I don't think Montreal is going to be that good next year, and you get a 3rd round pick, which again will be like pick 68. What would you rather have, right? Borgo or pick 38 this year? A first rounder next year that's going to be 28, or you can get a second rounder that might be like pick 34, 6 picks later, and you get a 3rd round pick. Like the value actually kind of lines up.
Yeah, I think some organizations do kind of like having the picks for themselves, because then you make your own pick, right? You pick the player you want, not what somebody else wanted. So yeah, the value's there. I understand what you're saying with the late first, early second, especially like in this draft class. Like I feel like there's still some good talent at the top end of the second round, even late into the second round, honestly, where the Oilers would be picking. So yeah, it kind of just depends on what Philly are valuing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it makes more sense now that we discuss it.
I like it from Christopher Palmer. Our 2024 first rounder will be pick 32. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it will be. But that's what I mean, right? Like if you're Philly and you can get assets from middling or struggling teams, like those might work out a little bit better. And that's another thing when it comes like the Oilers trading their first rounder next year. Is like it's going to be a late first rounder, man. If you can get a piece that legitimately improves the team, you do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do it. You do what you got to do. But I'd be curious actually to see them what Arizona do throughout this offseason, because they've got some players. Like Vermelka's obviously a very good goaltender. Clayton Keller, I think, is the most underrated player in the NHL. What's that Italian Finnish guy they have? Michelli?
Michelli.
Yeah, he's very, very good. So they got some players there. So it's about time that Arizona try and make this thing work. If nobody else wants him in Arizona, they may as well make it somewhat desirable for the fans there.
Tyler Mulick says, when do we think the NHL schedule drops? I am, oh my God, this guy is back in the chat. He's just gone forever. See you later. Hide user on this channel. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. When does the NHL schedule drop? We don't know, but what we want to do is start planning our nation vacations for next year with our friends at AMA Travel. And I got an idea. If we can get enough people who are like everyday listeners of the show, Liam, to come on a nation vacation next year, maybe it's to Nashville, maybe it's to Vegas. What I want to do is I want to get a bar set up, and we're tinkering with this when I'm in Nashville next week. We're going to be doing the show live from a bar. But what I want to do is if we have enough ON everyday listeners, I want to set up at a bar and do like a live in-person, like hour-long version of the show. We could do listener questions with a mic for people and all of that stuff. I think it'd be really cool.
That would be a legit live chat.
Yeah, like it'd be sick, right?
That would be. I really like that idea, actually. Like, yes, last year, didn't we have Captain Felton was on the show when we were in Vegas? So that was good. And like, we like the people who listen to the show are the ones that make the show, right? Like, we're on like episode 210, I think this one is. And it's crazy that we're in the middle of June and I don't know how many people we've got in the chat right now, but it sounds like it's been very active today. And it's because of guys like Tyler Mulick, Christopher Palmer, Devin, like
not the guys we booted.
Yeah, not the guys we booted. So like it'd be unreal if a bunch of those people could come to wherever we land next season and do it from there. Yeah, that'd be unbelievable, to be honest.
Yeah. I was also thinking, like, we don't know what we're doing for a bar partner next year, but that would also be a cool way to like kick off season 2 of the show next fall, or maybe like Oilers season opener or something like that. I want to maybe think about doing a live show. Maybe we even pick like a Saturday night or something before an Oilers game, and we could do like an hour-long in-person edition of the show, and then we all hang out at the bar and watch the Oilers on a Saturday night. I think that'd be a really cool way to do it. We could do like an Oilers Q&A, like you said, have an actual live chat. We need to have enough interest in it, obviously, because it'd be embarrassing if it was just me and you at the bar, Liam.
Oh well, we could just play it off.
Yeah,
Hey,
sure.
we're just doing the show.
We'll just
What are all
have
these
Aaron.
seats
We'll have
for?
Aaron keep walking up to the mic and asking questions.
But every time he goes back to sit down, he has to sit in a different chair.
Yeah. Anyways, couple ideas. We're chewing on a lot of things ahead of season 2. How many more shows do we have left in season 1 here? Because a couple more this week, 3 more this
12?
week, 3 more this week, 5 next week is 8. Free agent special is 9. Last show Monday, July 3rd is 10. So after today, it's only 10 more. We're going to do like a weekly check-in series throughout the year. So throughout the summer. So we'll be going live once a week throughout the summer, but there's just not enough to talk about in that time. So we won't be going every day. So 11 more shows left in season 1. We'll have a summer check-in series. And then, yes, we'll be back with season 2 next year. We're chewing on a lot of ideas. God damn it. Who the hell's talking shit about Bud Light? You're gone. That guy's just gone for good, actually.
That's what a crazy. I can't believe
we're doing off-season cleanup in the chat today.
Yeah, spring cleaning on a rainy Thursday. What day is it? It's not Thursday. Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, bro.
Yeah, it's the middle of summer. They just all blend into one.
All right. That is that's a wrap on today's edition of the show. Shout out to Sherwood Ford, the Giant, our new friends, Cornerstone Insurance, cornerstoneins.ca, player grade for Star Mechanical, trade machine for AMA Travel. The Betway other sports report is that the Jays let us down. They were terrible. I don't think they can make a manager change with the Jays because they just hired Schneider last year. He hasn't even been on the job for a full year, but something's got to give. It's insane.
What's the decision then? Like who could be next? Like what is wrong, Tyler? You told me the run line was the pick yesterday.
I know.
And it definitely was just the wrong way.
I know. I'm tempted to just run it back with the run line on Betway. I don't know, man. They're just a team that's lost. I think they lost a lot of chemistry with Gurriel and Hernandez getting moved. I think it's affected some guys, and the learning curve of trying to find your identity as a new core has just been tough. So, yeah. I don't know, man. It's upsetting though. Yeah. These GD Toronto Blue Jays keep pissing me off. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. Frank Cervalli will be along on the Star Mechanical guest line as well, breaking it all down every day at noon Mountain Time. Hope to chat with you again tomorrow, everybody. See you then.